కార్యక్రమం ముఖ్యంగా సామ్ why did you Trump go into the bunker? What happened to?
But it's not confirmed officially. But what's your opinion on that? That's what Ranjit is asking.
Well, I mean, if you look at it from a security point of view, he's the president of the United States. So, and based on what we watch on TV, on how certain protesters could get very violent, and I mean, I'm pretty sure those bunkers are made to be, for a situation maybe not like this, but a situation a lot worse than this. But at this point, if anything that poses threats to the president of the United States or anybody that works in the White House, uh, I mean, to save their lives and their themselves from any kind of harm is I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, if it was me, if I knew that there's somebody coming outside of my house and I felt some sort of threat from them, I would definitely lock my door. I would not leave the door open. So if he went to the bunker, I'm pretty sure he did it for security purposes.
Right, and Sam cannot
Ranjit,
they handle the
you want
situation,
me to
present
translate?
situation?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yes, cannot handle this present situation in Trump's government.
It's a very broad question, and like I mentioned earlier, nobody expected this protest to go this far, and it could take this violent turn to it. Like I said, everybody in this country has that's their constitutional right to speak up if they see anything wrong, and if they see injustice, that's the constitutional right of every American living in this country to speak up for themselves, for their rights. So the question of how come the White House cannot or not handling the situation right now, like I said, I'm personally not a politician, and I'm definitely not a president of the U.S. So I don't know how. I'm pretty sure they're not sitting at their rooms and just not worrying about what's going on in the country. But you have to understand that you're dealing with a different type of situation here. It's not just a regular protest. You have people that they're taking advantage of the protest, the anti-government, anti-social groups, that they're pitching their idea and their mentality, and they're basically putting a gun on somebody else's shoulder and trying to target the government. So at this point, I mean, it's hard to cherry pick those people among like thousands of protesters. You don't know who's who. You see a group of very peaceful protesters that are protesting and trying to fight for this person that was injustice was done to him, Floyd, and but at the same time, you have people that they really are not about the protest. I'm pretty sure they don't even know who the guy is. They're just there.
Sam, I have a quick
Yes.
question for you. So we heard about a couple of tweets from Honorable President of US, like tweeting about how they are going to handle these things. For example, if you loot, the guns will raise kind of tweets. Were these tweets going to have a negative impact and raise the consequences of the violence here?
Well, I'm pretty sure the government and the law enforcement personnel knows a lot better than that. That I hope that moment doesn't come where they have to start using weapons or guns or any sort of violence towards the protesters. But I guess if it gets to a point where the protesters are already, taking it taking this peaceful protest to a different turn, then I guess they have to use some sort of source or force to stop this.
Okay, one more thing. So police on their knees supporting every protest. Guys who are doing the protest. So and also the officials of the government are walking with the protest people who are doing protests. Do you think this is a good approach, so that they are letting people know, like, yes, we are with the people when there was a protest, and we are with the public, and we will be with the public. So by this action, police or the government officials were trying to say this topic, or I mean, get this topic into the public?
Of course, like I said earlier, you have to understand one thing here. All the police force is not bad. A lot of them are good people. They know what their job is. They're there to support the people, and not in just in our neighboring cities, but all over America. You have the high-ranking police force members where they're marching alongside the protesters. That they're not doing that for the show. They want to let the people know that all of the police force is not the same. It's just because one or two people does or commits a crime, that does not mean that the whole police force are bad.
My final question. So, do you think the thing which happened to George Floyd is an injustice, and were you supporting him at this point of time?
Well, everybody knows it was very obvious that it was very injustice. I mean, it was not. I would say it was inhumane. If for the lack of a better phrase, if I could say. I mean, nobody should be treated that way, even if they're a criminal. Like I said, if a person is not posing a threat to the people in his surroundings,
Right.
and especially to the law enforcement, they have no rights. Like I said, I'm not a police officer, but it's understandable. You could tell that nobody has to treat anybody like that. That man could have lived. I'm pretty sure he has a family. He has a father, mother, siblings. He could have lived another day. But to just take his life like that, it's way beyond injustice. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. The roads and the streets of America is just covered with basically protesters. People want justice, not for him, but the people before him.
Right.